it feels good, man. I've been a fan of you guys for a while, so just to be here is just I'm loving the energy, like for real, for real.
One thing I can say is that I really appreciate you watching. And one thing that I have been able to witness myself is you sharing what we're doing to everybody out there in Federal
Yeah.
Way through Lifestyles Barber Academy. I witnessed it. I walked in and you're like, hey, you don't know Trey? She's with Converge Media. They're doing this and that.
Yeah.
And that's really, to me, that's really at the heart of what we do. And when we're spreading that good energy and those vibes, like it comes back tenfold. So I just wanted to tell you that publicly. I so appreciate you for doing that.
I appreciate it. I'm not gonna lie, man. I've been following you guys like when Amari was doing Black Lives Matter and he was living it on his phone and everything. And I just was like, who is this guy? I know his brother, but I was like, man, what is he doing? And then it just grew and grew and grew. And now you guys are killing it. And I'm happy to know you. I'm happy that my son gets to go to school with your son. And it's just a beautiful thing, man. And iron sharpens iron, and we just want to support everybody that's doing the work, and you guys are doing the work.
Well, I got to say, you're also doing the work, brother. I mean, out there in Federal Way, it's important that we always talk about this from Black business owners and from that perspective that our people need to see people that look like them doing phenomenal work. And you've been a barber for a long time. Yeah. And then you said, you know what? Not only am I going to be a barber, I need to now be training up the next generation of barbers. Yeah. Please tell us about your background and what made you say that, Lifestyles Barber Academy is how I'm going to make my mark.
Well, barbering saved my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I was going down the wrong path. I got kicked out the military. I was lost, and I found barbering. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't learn anything in school. And I've been a barber for over 20 years. And I just was like, man, if I can give the people that come after me the same thing that I've learned, the stuff that I've learned over the last 20 years, I just got a lot of value to give them. And I was like, they can start off with further than I was. You know what I'm saying? So I think the biggest thing is having our own institutions, like what you guys are doing here. You see what I'm saying? We have to have our own media. We have to have our own schools and things of that nature. And so I was determined to give more than what I got. You know what I'm saying? And so, we started a school. And the other part of it is like a lot of people just don't believe that they can do it. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of my barbering friends, like not too many people thought about a school. You know what I'm saying? And I just was like, well, how do you get in? So I want to open up multiple barbershops. And then I was like, well, man, like I'm not getting enough barbers out of school, not enough quality barbers out of school. And so I was like, I'm telling you guys, look up, like I just called the Washington State Department of Cosmetology and I said, I want to start a barber school. What do I need to do? And they sent me a checklist of what I needed to do. And I said, well, if this is what I need to do, then I'm going to do it. And I'm going to start my own school. And I did it. And we're a year into it. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, or we're looking to be accredited by the end of this year. We'll be able to accept financial aid, which I knew that was another barrier to a lot of people to get into the school, $6,000. A lot of people just can't come out of their pocket with it. So from gate, I was like, I want to be accredited. And so, I was like, well, I need to get accredited. So I looked that up and just went from there. And I just want to show people, because I know, or I'm hoping that I'm not the only one that does this, right? We want other barber schools to pop up. We want other, we just want to flood the field and say, hey, we can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just about us and what we're trying to do. We're trying to create.
Yeah, well, one thing that I really appreciate about something that you shared with me too is it's not just about, barber for barbering's sake, right? Mm-hmm. You're talking about a culture and a legacy of barbers. And even when we look at this amazing wall behind us, we know legacy. That, I'm always reminded of the times that where it was like we had such thriving culture. And cosmetology, barber shops and beauty shops, they've always been a part of that, where, a young man can go in, man, he walks out feeling like a king, a prince. And the ideas that you really are infusing that in your approach. Tell us about that and like how you also see, not just your school, but then your barber shops also being a part of this legacy and culture.
Well, my model is off of Madam C.J. Walker, right? I watched the movie. I had heard about her, and the more I learned about her, there's a couple ways that we used to get our information. One was church, the other was the salon or the barbershop. You know what I'm saying? And so we just always took that serious. If you look at the history, like barbers, like the shops, we always do backpack giveaways. Just we're community oriented. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, we're gonna bring this back tenfold. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna pour into the community through our business. And so this is a low barrier startup, a low barrier to get into the business. And so it just was like, man, let's pour into people and bring back the culture that we used to have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I can't agree with you more. One thing that I think is so poignant is your location as well. We've talked about gentrification here on, Converge Media so often. We know that Black communities were really hit the hardest. And when we talk about the Central District, it was just a hub. And now we have families that are all spread out throughout King County. And in Federal Way, there's 14% Black families out there. And you are, now setting up an anchor for, young Black folks and others to really come in to that legacy and culture. And I think that, not only that, but you've done work out there for advocacy, for, Black liberation and just the connection again, which, we always say, like why King always says, buildings don't build, community, it's the people. And you have to have those ties in community. Tell us about some of the community work that you're involved in out there in Federal Way.
Where do I start? So basically, like I said, barbering was the intro, right? And then as a barber, you meet a lot of different people. And so like kids would come in and, maybe 3 kids come in, only one can get their hair cut. It doesn't cost me anything but time, right? And so we try to show them that this is how you can give back. So we give free haircuts all the time, you know what I'm saying? And so that introduced me to other people in the community. Like shout out to my man Jesse Johnson, Joaquin. Man, they've been putting in work for a long time. And so that introduced me to different people. And then once I got into like the different politics and stuff like that, I was like, this is where we make our difference. Going to the school board meetings, going to the city council meetings, this is where we can make our difference. And just like I said, it's just like starting the barber school. Like a lot of people just don't think that they can do it. And it's just like, man, get that out your head. I went to my first city council meeting and I saw one of my neighbors there and he was special needs and nothing against it, but I was like, man, he got up there and he spoke with confidence. And I was like, I'm just sitting in the crowd like, can I say something? And so from then on, it was over. It was just like anybody and everybody has a voice. And so I just started there and I just went out. And so, like I said, like to your point, just whatever we can do, to be honest with you, just each one teach one, get the message out, go to these meetings and let's build our community. It's not going to get better if we just all are looking and saying, I thought you were going to do it. I thought you were going to do it. No, we all have our space. And like you said, Federal Way, it's 100 and something languages spoken in Federal Way. We're one of the most diverse cities in Washington. You see what I'm saying? So it only makes sense. The culture. I love culture. You know what I'm saying? Like I love learning about. I spent 4 years in the Philippines, right? And so I just love to learn about. And we are in a place where you can learn about, the Russian culture, Ukraine, Japanese, China, just whatever. We in a melting pot right here. So it just was really about just reaching out and showing people like, hey, we're more alike than we are different. Let's come together and make a change.
Yeah, and that message resonates with me every single day, my friend. I tell you that, I'm always saying here, I end every show like, see yourself as part of the solution. And the reason why, and people have heard me talk about this a lot, but the reason why is exactly what you said there. If we're waiting around, criticizing the system and doing nothing about it, then, are we much better than the system? We're sitting there just accepting it and not doing anything. But yet we all have brilliance and ideas and innovation of strategy and approach that we can bring to something that would probably change the game. But if we're sitting at home and not doing it or saying, oh, I thought you were, I love how you said that, because it's something that really resonates with me on the daily.
But you got to see the wins, right?
Yeah.
So if it wasn't like, if I didn't see like my actions actually going somewhere, then I probably might have been like, this is not going to work. But when I would go to the school board meetings or when I would go to my son's school, like I was getting action. Like they were coming to me like, we were waiting for you guys to do this, or somebody to come in and help. And so I just was like, yo, like if just believe in yourself. And once you start seeing wins and once you start seeing like, say I had an issue with my getting my school up and going, and I call like the Washington State Department of Cosmetology, and I'm like, hey, I have a problem. Can you help me? And they help me. Or if I call my state representative Jesse Johnson and I say, hey, can you help me with this issue? And then they actually help me. And I'm like, man, Senator Claire Wilson, like I'm talking to, and they're actually helping. And I'm like, this is not just me. Like, you can do it. Anybody can do this. And so we just encourage people to just stand up and let your voice be heard.
I think you're so right too about the wins, because they really set a foundation for the fact that it is important and your voice is just as important as anybody else who's showing up all the time. We also understand too that, now is the time. I mean, there's a digitization of the legislative session, which really changes the game for a lot of families who don't have the time or the resources to, take a day off of work, go all the way down to Olympia, find childcare, all of that. So it's really opened itself up. And earlier you mentioned, your son Solomon, and just last week, right here on the Morning Update show, he was here, and I gotta say, he connected with our director Salman, because Salman was like, "What? Your name is Solomon? My name is Solomon too." And it was so, he was here like, "Hi, everybody." He was such a gem. Yeah. So thank you so much. And you're right. I think us being connected in community is key. I want to make sure before we let you go, you can look right there in the camera. Tell people how they can catch up with you at Lifestyles Barber Academy.
So you can check us out at you can go to our website, www.lifestyles, LIFESSTYLES, Barber Academy, BARBERACADEMY.com. You can check us out on Facebook. We have a Facebook page and a Instagram page, Lifestyles Barber Academy as well. And the website will probably be the best way. And just come check us out. Like, we're for real. Like, our motto is that we're not just going to teach you the craft, we're going to teach you the business. You can ask my student over here. I brought one of my students will be. We talk about everything. We just don't talk about barbering. We talk about life in general. I'm a serial entrepreneur, so we barbering is just the intro to it. But if you come in and you connect with us, I can guarantee we're gonna give you everything. I'm gonna give you everything I can for this craft. And I want to leave you with this. We don't teach you just to cut hair. We want you to get your license so you can actually pay your taxes, buy property, and things of this nature, and then move on to the next step. We don't want to just train you and then you don't ever get your license and you just a side barber. No, we want you to actually get into the industry, and it's a beautiful industry, and we're going to pour into our community. I promise you that.
Lamont Styles, man. My God, I'm so appreciative of you joining us this morning, giving us some of your time. And thank you so much for your ever-loving support of us over here at Converge Media. Always. You are doing amazing work, and I'm glad that we can use a slot on Feel Good Friday to showcase it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Peace and blessings to you and everybody else.